Life is about getting comfortable with uncomfortable. It's been just a phenomenal journey because each place is different and each place presents its own unique challenges, and you problem solve along the way because there are things that you know to prepare for and there are other things that just pop up and you just have to wing it.
Welcome, everybody. Today, we're shifting gears to focus on health and wellness. We're going to get into the mind of how a busy ultramarathoner's mindset tackles Hyrox events, blending endurance with functional fitness for peak performance. This season is proudly sponsored by SciShow Tea, fueling our conversations with premium single origin tea infused with sparkling water. Meet Kwik, investor, operator, and global connector. With over 25 years of frontline experience across Asia Pacific and the US, he's navigated the most defining economic and tech cycles of our time. A seasoned ultramarathoner, Derek pushes the limits of endurance both in the boardroom and on the track. His commitment to building a better future extends beyond business. As a board member of the SPCA, he champions animal welfare with the same passion he brings to transforming startups into category-defining brands. As the great-grandson of Indonesia's Sugar King, his legacy of resilience drives him forward. Oh, and did I mention he's also a great chef? Welcome, Derek.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, awesome to have you here. It's been years since we've been on camera together, but early on, you gave me a lot of tips on how to get running and doing marathons, so I appreciate that.
Yeah, I think fitness is something that everybody should kind of build into their lifestyle. It's not a one-off type of thing. It has to be something that you do on a regular basis. It's great when you're young. It's great when you get older. It's good for on all fronts.
Yeah, so you're one of the first. I remember I had never heard of an ultramarathon before until I met you. And, diving deeper and hearing about running through for many days through the Gobi Desert, for example, or another tough terrain, I certainly was intrigued and in awe in how much grit you have to finish something like that.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I didn't know about it myself at one point, and I started to run 5K, then 10K, then half marathons, and then tried a full marathon, tried the 100K trail walker, and I just kept pushing the bar higher, just trying to see what is the limit of human endurance. And I landed upon these 250 kilometer plus multi-day events where you're running through the most extreme terrain on earth, deserts, jungles, mountains, wherever, and then just trying to push yourself while trying to compete with other runners. And I think I've done 23 or 24 of these now since year 2000. So it's been just a phenomenal journey because each place is different and each place presents its own unique challenges, and you problem solve along the way because there are things that you know to prepare for and there are other things that just pop up and you just have to wing it. So it's a great life skill.
Yeah. And I've seen how your feet get torn up and all the weight that you have to carry. How much weight do you have to carry again?
So just generally speaking, when you go on these events, on these races, you have to be self-supported. So you're carrying 6 days of food, you're carrying a sleeping bag, a change of clothes, first aid kit, and then your safety equipment like a space blanket, whistle, headlamp, spare batteries, red flashing light, a pocket knife, water bottles. So it all comes out to be about 16 kilos of gear. But of course, it will weigh anywhere from 12 to 16 or 17, 18 kilos, just depending on what your level of experience is. So the newbies, they end up carrying a lot more and the kitchen sink. And then if you're more seasoned, you learn to pare down your weight where you actually will cut the end off of your toothbrush because you don't need that piece.
Wow, that's like ultra efficiency as well. I could see it as like slowly you're getting lighter, but then you're getting more tired along the way. So it's this kind of balance.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just, and you have to sleep in the wilderness too, right?
Yeah, you have to sleep. So you're basically, the format of these events are that you basically are on average, you're running about a marathon a day, and you run from one campsite to the next campsite. And everybody is required to take rest at the camp. That's for safety reasons. So there you bandage up your feet from the day of running. You get your gear ready for the next day. You have a meal, then you go to sleep. of course, you don't sleep well because you're sleeping in a tent. You're sleeping in the cold and the heat. It's never comfortable, but your body's so tired, you just end up crashing anyway. But at around 4 o'clock in the morning, when it's still dark outside, you automatically wake up because the whole campsite wakes up. And then you're packing all your stuff back into your bag, having a quick a meal, breakfast, and then hydrate, and then you're off running again for the entire day. So it's just basically a rinse and repeat for 6 days. All of the accumulated fatigue, soreness, foot blisters, the sun, the sand, the cold, the wind, running in the rain, it all starts to weigh on you quite heavily as the days goes on. So actually, the running actually gets much harder, even though your pack gets lighter.
Yeah, so what's the least desirable environment that you run in? I mean, obviously you hit
Oh,
extremities, but like
yeah,
what's like the terrain that you had to
great
run that you're
question.
like out of the 23?
Yeah, so the worst place on earth that I've ever been to is in Brazil, the Amazon jungle. Jungles are the worst environments to be in because nothing ever drives in the jungle, and everything wants to poke you, bite you, sting you, stab you, poison you, eat you. The jungle is basically one big high school science experiment. So everything is rotting, everything is falling apart, creepy crawlies everywhere. So your mental stress level is so high. Whereas if you're running in the desert, you're just in cruise control. You just have one pace and you're cruising through the sand. Even though it's hot, you don't have to worry about anything because nothing's going to creep up on you because you're just in this open sand. And not a whole lot of living things can actually live in that type of extreme environment in the desert. Whereas in a jungle, because it's just so wet and humid, everything is alive there. So the normal things that you would naturally do, like if you slipped in the jungle, you would reach out and grab a tree branch to brace yourself. Well, that tree branch might have poison on it. It might have spikes on it. You might stick your hand. No jungle is ever flat. I think that's one of the biggest misconceptions that everything is up and down in the jungle and water collects at its lowest point. So when you're at the bottom of the jungle, it's wet and it's swampy and it's muddy and you don't know how deep it is until you step in it. So it could just be up to your knees or it could go all the way up to your chest. You just don't know until you get into it. And then of course at the top of the jungle, sometimes you're above the jungle canopy, so the sun is out shining, but then that makes all the water evaporate, so there's a lot of humidity in the air. So it's always very stressful. There's never a clear path in the jungle, so you're always crossing over fallen tree branches, logs, all kinds of stuff. And of course, there are things that live on there, leeches. There's always snakes on the other side of the log that you're crossing. There's all kinds of bugs. Everything is spiders. Everything everywhere. So it's very
Yeah,
mentally stressful.
I'm cueing my Indiana Jones. I hate snakes right now.
I hate snakes, Chuck!
Did you do
So
that before three kids, or after during three kids?
yes,
Okay.
before yes, and yeah. So I feel like in life you don't just focus on the things you like to do, but you have to focus on things that you don't like doing as well. So I'm not a fan of jungles, so that's why I do them. So I've done the Amazon, I've done Cambodia, I've done the Borneo rainforest in Sabah. So they're all different types of jungle terrains, but the Amazon jungle in Brazil was the toughest. Life is about getting comfortable with uncomfortable. So if you don't like doing something, just keep doing it until it becomes normal.
Like that. Well, then let's talk about Hyrox because I feel like this could be a walk in the park for you. The caveat, I came to you because I've been kind of eyeing it, thinking about it, had no idea about it, but it's gotten pretty big, and it's maybe like the CrossFit stuff as a phenomenon before. And I know you haven't done Hyrox, but I assume this is the environment's controlled, and I know you've been doing a lot of these type of workouts pre-Hyrox. So I thought it'd be interesting for our listeners to, go through your mind and say, okay, well, if you really wanted to convert that knowledge to excelling in Hyrox or even at just least finishing, what would you do?
Yeah, it's Hyrox is the new thing now. It's the new trend. I think prior to that we had CrossFit. Before that, it was running marathons. And because I came from that background of doing marathons and then moving into ultra marathons, the need to always be ready, always be fit, always be prepared to tackle whatever challenge comes my way has kind of always been this sort of ethos of mine, is to just always have a minimum level of fitness in order to jump into the next physical thing. And at that time, my minimum level of fitness was to be able to roll out of bed on any given day and run a marathon. Doesn't have to look pretty. I just have to finish it. You can't sing praise to yourself about a marathon you ran 3 years ago. You're only as good as your last marathon. So with that in mind, I trained just to be able to run a full marathon, not for time, just for completion. And with that, as I mentioned before, is getting comfortable with uncomfortable. So I would create situations where it would be uncomfortable for me to go run. I would pick the hottest time of the day, hot, humid summer in Hong Kong, 12 noon, when most people are not going out, I will go out and do running. If it's black rain and it's pouring rain outside, that's the best time for me to go out and run. So I always have this saying where you run hungry, run thirsty, run cold, run hot, run sick, run tired. Just get used to it, because when you're running these ultra marathons, you don't have the luxury at the start line of day 3, when you're halfway in the middle of everything at kilometer 150, to say, you know what, it's too hot, or I'm not feeling so great today, so I'm not going to start today, right? If you don't start, you're out. So I find, like in life, you just have to just suck it up and go. So when it comes to training for Hyrox or any event, which I had not done before, I will think of crazy training exercises to do just to be prepared for anything. So before Hyrox became a thing, before CrossFit became a thing, just to train for these ultra marathons, I was running with Mini Me, which was a backpack with a sack of rice in it. And I would do these long hikes around Hong Kong. I would run around Hong Kong with this sack of rice. And then as CrossFit became a thing, I picked up one of those weight training vests, with 2 iron plates and you're sandwiched in between them. And I started running with that. And then I found these sandbags, which I filled with rice, and I carry these sandbags around. It's really odd to carry something with all these weird handles configured around the shape of the bag, so that you kind of have to carry this thing for 2, 3, 4 hours around Hong Kong when I do my hikes or when I do running. And then there are crazy days when I put all 3 of those things on: a backpack of rice, carry a sandbag with my weight vest on as well. And I'll just carry that around and I'll go and hike the trails just to get comfortable with uncomfortable. And then indoor training, I'll go to the gym and I'll bring all that equipment and just get on the treadmill. And there's this other workout. What I do is I'll run 5K on the treadmill, but for every 400 meters, I'll press pause. I'll get off the treadmill and do 50 push-ups. So I'll end up doing a 5K run, 500 push-ups in 32 minutes. And I did that 3 days a week, which comes out to be 1,500 push-ups a week or 6,000 in a month. I did that for 12 months, ended up being 72,000 push-ups, which is a crazy number to think about. But if you have that level of commitment to run on a treadmill, then do push-ups, and just alternate on and off for the entire workout, it's actually not too different from Hyrox, because you're running a kilometer, then you're doing a set of exercises like burpees or a sled pull, all the different events that they have with a 1 kilometer run in between. You're basically keeping your cardio going the whole time. So the workout that I think I made up, or I came up with, which was run on the treadmill and do push-ups, you're basically doing lower body, upper body, and you're alternating between the two. And I think Hyrox is not too different. So getting comfortable with uncomfortable is something that I enjoy doing a lot. Another workout that I've been doing for the past maybe 15 years now has been Jiu-Jitsu. And I started off as a white belt 15 years ago. Amazing cardio workout as well. Also prepares you for Hyrox because the cardio is some of the most intense cardio that I've ever done. They call it rolling when you're sparring with your partner. And there's 6-minute rounds, and you're going from one partner to the next partner to the next partner until class ends. But you're using a combination of cardio, and your upper and lower body strength is intense, really intense.
How do you plan your rest days? Because I mean, I gotta say, sometimes when I work out, I'm pretty spent in one day, and then I feel like, oh, the next day I can't do that much. What is your strategy on that?
I mean, everybody has their own opinion on what rest day is. I think that the human body is very resilient, so it will adapt to whatever rest day you define as being your rest day. So for me, my rest day is the rest of my day. So I will go and relax after a 6 a.m. jiu-jitsu workout, and I'll eat and hydrate. And the next day I'm able to continue at that same level of intensity. Maybe it's running. So you can alternate different sports, but you can work out every day. Your body will adjust to that. But giving your muscles time to relax, so you're not doing the repeated exercise over and over again, that might be a bit intense for some people. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday could be jiu-jitsu. Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday could be a run. And then maybe on Sunday, it's not really a rest day. You just run slower. Right? You just keep everything going. Because I think as you get older, your body continues to degrade. But if your body is used to that level of intensity, it will keep supplying nutrients to the joints and muscles so that you can continue to do those activities.
How has your strategy changed from 40s, from maybe being your 30s and 40s to your 50s? Or maybe it hasn't. Maybe it's gotten more intense the Dare Kwik way, right?
The difference is that my rests and my breaks are longer. Because it takes, I think as you get older, your body needs more time to recover. So there are certain days where you just need to take 2 days off instead of 1 day off. Maybe as if you did something particularly hard, like a marathon or an ultramarathon, you might want to take 3 days off, 4 days off. So everybody's different. So for me, after I finished ultramarathon, 250 kilometers over 6 days, I'm to a point now where I don't really get foot problems anymore because of my experience. But my flight back to Hong Kong, back to civilization, I go back to work the next day, and I don't feel too different. There's not much recovery time for me because I think my body's just kind of adjusted to it. So a plane ride back to Hong Kong is all that I really need. Here's a great example. I think it was in 2017, I went to Patagonia, and I ran 250 kilometers over 6 days. And then on my way back to Hong Kong, the timing was such that if I stopped over in Japan, in Osaka, I could run the Osaka Marathon the following weekend. So just for giggles, I decided, okay, I'm going to see if I can run 250 and then have a few days off and then run the Osaka Marathon, 42 kilometers. And I did. It wasn't hard. Of course, I wasn't running for time. I was just running for finish, and that worked. So that was my taper, if you will. And I've also tried running a marathon the week before, where you're actually supposed to rest before you run an ultra marathon, just to see if I could do it. So I ran the Berlin Marathon a week before, and then I think I went to, I can't remember now, I think it was Albania. And then I ran 250 kilometers in Albania just to see if I could do it. And I was fine. So it's I think all of this stuff is really mental in terms of like, it's all up in your head in terms of like how you interpret what is a taper, how far is too far. It's different for everybody.
Well, first of all, you're like the endurance king. Do you think it's for you, or have you thought through this? I'm curious.
I think it's really just built around mindset. If you look at, let's say, I've never been in the military, but if you look at the training that the military puts you through, it's more or less the same thing where they basically get you to erase all of the preconceived notions about doing this or that. Shaving your head and then going out and doing Hell Week is something that where you just getting used to doing things, getting used to being uncomfortable, being in really tough environments, and no matter how tired you are, the next day you get up and do it again. Why? Because the guy to your left and the guy to your right is doing the same thing. It's just having that mindset. Of course, you can't really put off age, but you can do the same things, but it'll just be a little bit slower. You're just doing less reps, less weights, but you're keeping that level of intensity up. And as long as you have that mindset, you can kind of achieve anything, just if you're just given enough time to do it.
Yeah, and that sense of preparedness of just always being ready in any situation.
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. So how do you balance that with the busy? I mean, you're an investor as well, right? Like, how do you balance all that with travel and and the like?
Balancing exercise with work isn't so hard because you just need to carve out a portion of your day in which to do something. I remember when I first started working, I would always tell myself, okay, after work, I'm going to go to the gym. And that would be at 10 o'clock at night. Well, 10 o'clock at night, we're all human beings. So it's like, who wants to go work out at 10 o'clock at night? You're just mentally tired from work. It just makes more sense to go home, have dinner, and go to bed. But what I realized that rather than promise yourself something that you can't deliver on, maybe just take 20 minutes out of your day during lunchtime just to go get half of a workout in. It's not your full workout, it's a partial workout, but partial is better than zero. So if you add up all of those partial workouts in a week, it will amount to be something decent. So just squeezing in a bit of time to commit to doing something, some kind of workout, I think is how I balance that. So, of course, when you travel, you're staying in hotels. It's actually not hard to use the hotel gym. It's not hard to get up a little bit earlier and go out for a run around the city that you're visiting, that you're traveling in. So it's actually just bring your running shoes, right? And then just as long as you have them in your suitcase, there's really no excuse. People say, "Oh, I didn't bring my workout gear." Well, if you have it in your suitcase all the time, you kind of take away the need to make excuses. So having some kind of workout commitment, I think is really important. I get up at 5 a.m. every day. I have 6 a.m. jujitsu. So there's kind of no excuse not to get that workout in because I get home at 7:30 in the morning and I'm like, your mind is just ready to go. And then of course on the weekends, you have a bit more time juggling family life and other things. You're able to fit in like a decent run on the weekends. So there's always time. I find that you'll always make excuses for the things that you want to do. And for the things that you really want to do, like going out for a drink, catching up with your friends, watching Netflix, you'll make time for that. And the things that you don't want to do, just naturally as humans, we just keep making excuses for.
How much do you sleep per night? What's your target sleep?
So I always have my watch on when I sleep, and I think that's really important to have quality sleep. So I, as an older person now, I love going to bed not long after my kids get to bed. My kids are in bed by 7:45. I try to be in bed sometime after 8. And to me, like 10 o'clock is too late now. You can't get me to go out at night because it's just not me anymore to do that. Maybe my younger days, I had no problems doing that, but now it's just not my thing. So if I'm in bed around 8 or 9 and get up at 5, that's pretty decent amount of sleep. But I'm always measuring the quality of my sleep because I think that's important. So sleep is really key to recovery.
What are you averaging, Mr. Kwik?
So averaging like 6 hours, 7 hours. Good days it'll be 7 hours. Your body clock automatically gets you up. So I don't really have alarms anymore. Right around 4 or 5, my body will just wake up. I think it's just part of that conditioning. And then on days when I'm really tired, 8 o'clock, sleeping until 8 is like that's a sleep in, and you feel guilty about that because you've missed a chunk of the morning.
Love it. So I want to quickly thank our sponsor, Sideshow Tea. It's awesome, single origin sparkling tea. Loved having you on, and we'll talk more. And thanks for doing this first episode on WIT on Focused on Health.
Always great to share about things about health and wellness and motivation.
I'm out here running with my 3 little ones. I've got my weight vest on. What are we saying? We're tired.
Don't give up!
What are we saying? We're tired.
Don't give up!
You heard it. Have a great day.